She was the mafia heiress, mistakenly raised as a boy, and he was the gentlest young master in the family. 10 years ago, a powerful authority tore them apart. 10 years later, she had become the underground queen who dominated F City. But a single order forced her to take off her battle gear, put on a school skirt, and return to high school. The feared big boss of the Linan society had become a delinquent transfer student in the last row of the classroom. But she never expected that on the first day of school, she would be crashed into by a blonde teenager who was climbing over the wall to skip class. Sunlight dappled the treetops. The blonde boy cried in front of Mo Chunan. He was clearly 3 years older than her, yet he still couldn't protect himself, causing people around him to disappear for protecting him. Mo Chunan saw him sobbing while earnestly expressing his reluctance to part and his affection for her. Her eyes widened in shock. After a moment of contemplation, Mo Chunan took his hand and sincerely promised to become stronger and always stay by the blonde boy's side to protect him. The blonde boy's blue eyes were filled with tears. He earnestly yet timidly said that he also wanted to protect her and wanted to become a real man just like him. As a girl, Mo Chunan heard his words, and her mind was filled with the 3 big words, real man. In a daze, Mo Chunan heard someone calling her. She hadn't expected to dream of her childhood playmate. Yihan, as Mo Chunan's assistant, was the epitome of handsome men. He had silver, shoulder-length hair tied in a low ponytail that rested on his left shoulder. His purple eyes were full of gentleness. He gently woke Mo Chunan and told her they had a gang meeting soon to discuss the distribution of profits. As the big boss of the F City Linan Society, Mo Chunan was so annoyed she was scratching her hair, because she hated dealing with numbers more than anything. But as the boss, she had to be there in person. She got up and headed to the meeting room. 3 people were already waiting for her inside. Mo Chunan leaned back in her chair, crossed her legs, and gestured for the people opposite her to start the meeting. The red-haired man opposite her rested his chin on his hand and provocatively asked Mo Chunan how much profit she planned to give him. Yihan, who had come with her, flipped through the documents in his hand and stated that according to the gang's rules, they would give 10 of the net profit delivered quarterly. After speaking, he looked at the other party and asked if they had any objections. Seeing they didn't speak, Mo Chunan couldn't be bothered to argue with them and added another 10% profit. The standing pink-haired woman was not satisfied with this distribution. What she wanted was Mo Chunan's position. They completely surrounded Mo Chunan. The red-haired man and the pink-haired woman saw that only Yihan was by Mo Chunan's side. Thinking victory was in their grasp, they became incredibly arrogant. At this moment, Mo Chunan sat up a little straighter, calmly watching the farce before her. The red-haired man stood up smugly, his face full of arrogance and triumph. He sized up Mo Chunan with a greedy gaze, making no effort to hide the wicked thoughts in his eyes. He approached Mo Chunan with a provocative stride and reached out his lecherous hand, attempting to harass her. Just as his hand was about to touch Mo Chunan, Yihan, who had been standing calmly by her side, acted swiftly. He grabbed the red-haired man's wrist. Yihan smiled, secretly tightening his grip on the red-haired man's arm, warning him not to be insolent in front of the boss. The force made the man's face contort in pain. The red-haired man shouted, telling Yihan to get lost. Seeing the two clash, the surrounding lackeys tightened their grip on their weapons and slowly closed in. At this moment, the pink-haired woman on the side saw this and let out a smug chuckle. She reminded the red-haired man not to accidentally hurt Yihan's face in his impulsiveness, while her ambiguous gaze lingered on Yihan's face. After all, she was quite fond of that handsome face. Her voice was charming, but it couldn't hide the malice within. Mo Chunan faced the rebellion these two had planned without a change in expression. But she couldn't tolerate someone having the audacity to snatch a person from her. Seeing that she was still acting arrogant, the pink-haired woman fiercely grabbed her by the collar. She mocked her for being just a little girl who relied on her family's power, strong on the outside, but weak on the inside. But Mo Chunan didn't even deign to look at her and simply snapped her fingers lightly. Instantly, a group of people burst in through the windows. The traitors, who originally had the upper hand, were caught off guard. The situation was instantly reversed. The pink-haired woman's expression was panicked. She hadn't expected that the other party had already set an ambush. Seeing that the tide had turned, the traitorous lackeys tried to flee, but it was too late. Imo Chanan calmly waved her hand. At her command, her subordinates moved quickly and brought all the traitors under control. After the dust had settled, she slowly stood up and gestured for Yi Han to leave. Yi Han bowed his head in acceptance, took off his own jacket, and gently draped it over Imo Chinan's shoulders. She did not refuse this thoughtful gesture. Then she ordered the remaining personnel to handle the scene properly. The underlings around them responded in unison and respectfully watched the two leave. The two stood on the rooftop, looking down at the city's night view. Yi Han told Imo Chanan that the old master had ordered her to return to his city to see him on the weekend. The smoke from the cigarette in Imo Chinan's hand dissipated into the air. She answered with a muffled voice. Yi Han could hear the unhappiness in her voice. So Yi Han turned to look at her and told her solemnly and firmly not to let others' words affect her judgment. She was an outstanding individual in her own right, but such words could not comfort her. Imo Chanan was well aware of her current situation. She was just a marionette living under the old master's control, with no right to make her own choices. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. The night wind blew against her face, lifting her long hair, and seemed to slightly blow away some of the heaviness in her chest. A few seconds later, she opened her eyes again. The previous hesitation and dejection had quietly faded. In its place was a determination that rose from the bottom of her heart. She turned to Yi Han, her voice soft but every word clear. One day, she would truly take control of her own life and stand at the very top by her own strength. Yi Han gazed at her revitalized eyes, his expression gradually softening. He smiled and said he would accompany her until that day came. 3 days later, in a city, Imo Chanan came to see the old master as scheduled. As soon as she entered the building, the special assistant who had been waiting in the lobby came forward to greet her and led her to the office on the top floor. The old master's name was Chiu Shirgua. He had made his fortune in illegal industries and was a ruthless man whose word was law. As soon as he saw Imo Chanan, Chiu Shirgua directly ordered her to immediately disband the Linan Society in F City and stay in a city to attend high school. Imo Chanan had not expected such an absurd arrangement. She tried to object, her tone firm and unwilling. But the old master left her no room for argument. The old master knocked on the table and told Imo Chanan that all the enrollment procedures had already been completed. She just needed to attend class on time next week. Hearing his cold, unquestionable tone, the suppressed anger in Imo Chinan's heart was instantly ignited. She found it hard to accept that the Linan Society, which she had spent 2 whole years of painstaking effort and countless hardships to build, was to be disbanded with just a casual sentence from him. Her fists clenched and her eyes practically shot fire. She questioned him loudly, but Yi Han, who was beside her, quickly grabbed her arm and whispered a warning, signaling her not to be impulsive at this moment. The old master snorted coldly and pointed out with contempt. If it weren't for his current power and connections, the Linan Society would never have been established. Everything Imo Chanan possessed now came from him. These words cut through Imo Chinan's self-esteem like a sharp blade. He coldly pushed an admission notice across the desk, ordering Imo Chanan to take it. Immediately after, he announced without room for argument that from this day on, Yi Han would be transferred to his company as the second in command. Imo Chanan lowered her head, trying hard to suppress her anger, because she knew better than anyone that without power, one has no right to speak. It was precisely because of this that he could dictate her fate time and time again, constantly separating her from the important people in her life. The first time, it was her best childhood playmate when Shija. The second time, it was her most beloved younger sister. And this time, he was even ruthlessly taking her confidant, Yi Han, away from her side. Yi Han hadn't expected Imo Chanan to value him so much. His expression was sorrowful as he silently murmured Imo Chinan's name. However, just like every time before, all her anger and unwillingness seemed pale and powerless under the suppression of authority. Not only did the old master scoff at her accusations, but he also mocked her for her immature and ungraceful tantrum and sternly ordered her to get out. Imo Chanan let out a cold laugh. She never thought he would use his status as a grandfather to lecture her. It was an insult to the title. A chilling glint in her eyes, she strode forward, snatched the admission notice from his hand, and looked straight at him. Her voice was not loud, but every word was like a nail. One day, she would take away everything he owned. After saying that, Emo Chanan clenched the notice and resolutely turned and left the office. Emo Chanan sat on a park bench with her legs crossed, looking at the high school senior admission notice in her hand with a mix of emotions. Her studies had always been tutored by Yihan. This was the first time she would be studying in a school. Given the old master's character, this high school was definitely not ordinary. Yihan stood quietly beside Musenan. Seeing her suspicion, he immediately offered to investigate. However, in his opinion, Emo Chanan could take this opportunity to experience the life of an ordinary girl. Emo Chanan disagreed with his sentiment, feeling that such a life would be very boring. Just then, a group of young thugs targeted the two of them. Two of them with bleached hair started to extort them. Before they could finish their sentence, Emo Chanan leaped up, grabbed one of them by the collar, and kneed him hard in the stomach. To think someone would try to extort her, how rare. Yihan, standing by her side, had a doting look on his face and told Emo Chanan not to be too rough. The group that came looking for trouble had messed with the king of hell. They were all knocked out on the ground. Emo Chanan didn't expect them to be so weak. She took out her wallet, looked at the balance, and lamented that she didn't have much money to begin with, and now had to cover their medical expenses. Yihan smiled, took out a card and keys, and handed them to her, telling her not to worry about school expenses. Emo Chanan happily took what he offered. The two arrived at the house Yihan had bought in a city. Emo Chanan expressed her gratitude to him. Thanks to Yihan, she wasn't homeless. Yihan opened the curtains, still worried that his house was too small and that Emo Chanan would be inconvenienced. Seeing it was getting late, Yihan told Emo Chanan to go wash up in the bathroom first. He asked her what she wanted to eat, planning to go out and buy it. Emo Chanan smiled and said she wanted super spicy barbecue. Seeing her full of energy, Yihan gently agreed. After Yihan left, Emo Chanan went to take a bath in the bathroom. The toiletries inside were all her favorites, lemon-scented. She got up, drying her hair as she walked out. She suddenly remembered that she hadn't brought a change of clothes. Just then, Yihan, who had gone out to buy things, returned. Emo Chanan heard him calling her from outside. Yihan closed the door, and while changing his shoes and taking off his jacket, he called Emo Chanan's name. He looked up and saw the bathroom light was still on, wondering why she was still in the bathroom after so long. Because she had no clothes, Emo Chanan could only answer him from the bathroom. Yihan, untying his hair tie, remembered that Emo Chanan hadn't brought a change of clothes and asked if she minded wearing his. After hearing her reply, he was about to get the clothes when a scream suddenly came from the bathroom. Afraid that something had happened to Emo Chanan, Yihan pushed open the bathroom door. At that moment, Emo Chanan was completely naked, having slipped and was steadying herself against the sink. Seeing him staring blankly at her, she slapped him right across the face. Snapped back to his senses, Yihan, with a red face, went to get clothes for her. Emo Chanan buttoned up the oversized shirt, listening to Yihan apologizing profusely behind her. Seeing no reaction from her, Yihan quickly took out the food he had bought to cheer her up. The two sat at the dining table. Emo Chanan ate the barbecue and asked Yihan about the high school. His expression turned serious. He said that a student's body had mysteriously disappeared from that high school, and it still hadn't been found. It was said that the student's death was related to the criminal underworld in the city, but because the police lacked key evidence back then, it became a cold case. Emo Chanan was about to state her opinion when Yihan saw something on her mouth and immediately wiped it clean with a napkin. He told her to study hard at school and not to think about such messy things. Yihan then told Emo Chanan that her sister, Emo Balan, whom she hadn't seen in years, was also at this school. This news made Emo Chanan think of the sister whose world revolved around her. On the first day of school, Emo Chanan wore the pink uniform skirt issued by the school, said goodbye to Yihan, and went to school alone. Yihan watched her receding figure, his expression somber. He hadn't expected such a uniform skirt to look surprisingly good on her. Emo Chanan looked at the admission certificate in her hand and realized she was lost on campus. At that moment, on the wall behind her, a blond boy was about to climb over. Emo Chanan sensed the movement behind her, and as she turned around, she collided with the boy who was jumping down. She was knocked down by him, acting as his cushion. Pinned to the ground by a strange man, Imo Chinan's face darkened. She kicked the boy off her and gave him a hard punch. The boy fell to the ground, his face swollen like a pig's, and begged for mercy. Imo Chanan asked him why he was climbing the wall. He said he was looking for his big brother. Imo Chanan clicked her tongue impatiently and kicked the wall next to the boy's head. She said she would mercifully forgive him, but he had to take Imo Chanan to the new student registration office. Hearing this, the boy shot up, grabbed Imo Chinan's shoulders, and agreed. Imo Chanan looked speechlessly at the boy who was foolishly praising her, as if he had forgotten the beating he had just received. The two walked side by side towards the new student registration office. Imo Chanan was curious why a graduate like him would come to a high school to find his big brother. The boy said seriously that he had been protected by his big brother since he was a child. In his view, anyone stronger than him should be called Big Brother. After speaking, he stood in front of Imo Chanan, looking in her eyes with a determined expression, and said that a big brother is a big brother regardless of age. Imo Chanan couldn't stand this suddenly intense boy and pushed him away. The boy led Imo Chanan to the door of the academic affairs office, smiling brightly and reminding her of the enrollment procedures. Imo Chanan felt her pocket and realized her admission certificate was missing. They put their heads together and guessed it might have fallen near the wall. The boy apologized, told Imo Chanan to wait there, and ran quickly back to where they first met. Imo Chanan thought this guy was so single-minded. Would the school really not let her enroll just because the certificate was lost? She pushed open the door, directly told the teacher her situation, and asked how to handle it. The teacher smiled gently and told Imo Chanan it was okay. She was the only one enrolling at this time. Imo Chanan was not happy about being called that old man's granddaughter. She walked straight to the desk. She leaned on the desk with one hand and told him her name. At the same time, the boy had run back to the wall and picked up the admission certificate that had fallen on the grass. He stared blankly at the name of the new student, which read Imo Chanan. Looking at the three words, Imo Chanan, on the paper, the boy's gaze gradually grew distant, pulled into a long-buried memory. He remembered his parents dying tragically to save him after he was kidnapped. At the funeral, he stood alone in the shadows as a child, his life seemingly plunged into endless darkness. Just then, an old man named Chio Sherbwa came to the funeral with his big brother. The old man stated firmly that he would avenge him, the only bloodline of the Wen family. This was his, Wen Shijia's, first meeting with his big brother. He never expected that the girl he met today would have the exact same name as the calm and composed big brother from his memory. This couldn't help but make him suspicious. He clearly remembered that his big brother had short black hair back then and looked just like a little boy. Although many years had passed, he had expected his big brother to be tall and cool-looking when they reunited. Definitely not the image of the girl from before. After some thought, he told himself it was just a coincidence of names and not to overthink it. Meanwhile, Imo Chanan got lost again on her way back to her classroom. She fumbled her way up a dim staircase, the silence broken only by the sound of her own footsteps. Just as she was getting annoyed at taking another wrong turn, a door at the end of the stairs was suddenly kicked open. A brown-haired boy was kicked out and was about to crash into her. Imo Chanan reacted extremely quickly, instantly leaping up and landing a knee strike right on his tailbone. The boy let out a miserable scream as she grabbed him by the hair and dragged him upwards, blaming the man at the door for almost hurting her. But she didn't plan to argue with him now. She just wanted to find her classroom quickly. So, Imo Chanan coldly asked the boy standing at the door if he knew where Class F of the third year was. The boy obviously didn't expect someone to be so arrogant on their turf. His face immediately turned vicious, planning to teach her a lesson. Just then, the crisp sound of leather shoes approached from behind him. A man with aqua blue, shoulder-length hair walked over slowly. His voice was calm, but carried an air of authority as he asked who the person outside was. The boy called Yiming immediately reined his attitude and told him that a rather arrogant woman had come asking for Class F of the third year. The man known as Big Brother didn't get angry. Instead, he looked gently at Imo Chanan and explained to her that this was the Nehue and the class she was looking for was in the opposite building. Imo Chanan was still pondering what kind kind of organization the Nehue was, but she saw that the big brother of the Nehue had already walked in and calmly asked her to let go of the boy she was still holding. Mo Chanan immediately released her tight grip on his hair, gave him a fake smile, and thanked him. Then she turned, waved her hand, and coldly reminded him to watch where he was kicking people next time. Yiming, standing on the side, was clearly not convinced about letting her go just like that. He quickly approached the big brother and whispered that this girl was highly skilled, and keeping her around might cause trouble in the future. The big brother's gaze still followed Mo Chinan's receding figure. He told Yiming that if he wasn't mistaken, she was Mo Chinan, the leader of the F-City Linan Society. Yiming looked incredulous. He couldn't believe a little girl could be so capable. The big brother didn't explain further, only instructing him to keep a close eye on her movements from now on. After dealing with this minor incident, the two returned to the main issue, purging the traitors within the Nehue. The big brother's tone suddenly turned cold, telling Yiming not to go easy on them. He immediately took action, dragging up the brown-haired boy who was still begging for mercy, and quickly left the scene. Meanwhile, Mo Chanan followed the directions and finally found Class F of the third year. She stood on the podium with her hands in her pockets, looking completely at ease. The class teacher briefly introduced her to the class and asked the students to get along. The classroom immediately broke into whispers. The students hadn't expected someone to transfer in at such a critical time in their senior year. In the last row of Class F, a shabbily dressed punk unabashedly sized up Mo Chanan and made a lewd comment about her figure. The little delinquent girl next to him, Zhanya, took the opportunity to spread rumors with harsh words. Mo Chanan's gaze turned cold. She strode towards Zhanya, not giving her any time to react. With one hand, she slammed her head hard onto the desk. The thud echoed through the entire classroom. In an instant, the whole class fell silent. Everyone was stunned by the almost icy, killing intent in her eyes. The class teacher hurried forward to mediate. Zhanya struggled to lift her head. Having lost all face, she glared fiercely at Mo Chanan and loudly questioned if she was provoking her, then challenged Mo Chanan to a duel. The other girl just casually gave her the middle finger, accepting her duel proposal without hesitation, and told Zhanya to apologize to her if she lost. It was the first time Zhanya had seen someone dare to be so arrogant in front of her. She slammed the desk and stood up, planning to go to the student council to submit a duel application after class. Seeing the situation escalating, the class teacher loudly demanded them to be quiet. He told all the students that he already knew this class had the worst grades in the entire school before he came. He also understood the school's intention in assigning a student teacher to this class. But as a teacher, he would not give up on any student. All the students quietly watched the earnest class teacher on the podium. His sincere eyes and earnest words left a significant impression on Mo Chanan. When Shija, holding the certificate he had found, searched the school for Mo Chanan, intending to return it to its owner. Passing by a school building, he saw 3 girls walking together and immediately went up to ask them about Mo Chanan's whereabouts. Upon hearing the name, the girls all turned their heads and glared menacingly at Wenshija. Then they looked at Mo Chanan, who was standing in the crowd, to confirm the identity of the intruder. Seeing that Mo Chanan knew him, one of them forcefully pushed Wenshija's back, while another cooperated by sticking out a foot and tripping Wenshija to the ground. Mo Chanan quickly knelt down to check on him. He handed her the admission certificate, a smile of apology on his face, feeling that he had caused her trouble again. Mo Chanan couldn't believe this guy was still thinking about that stupid piece of paper. Seeing that he was not seriously injured, she stood up and walked towards the group of girls. At the same time, she reassured Wenshija that she would not let him get hurt. Wenshija stared blankly at Mo Chanan's back. He had seen a similar scene in his childhood. Back then, his big brother had protected her just like this. Mo Chanan went forward, kicked away the blonde girl who approached her first, and took down everyone in a few moves. Wenshija got up, watching Mo Chanan's clean and swift movements. It was then he realized that the big brother he had been searching for was a girl. Wenshija's expression was firm as he watched Mo Chanan in the fight. He sincerely expressed his gratitude. He decided to protect her as they had once promised. Mo Chanan looked bewildered at the boy who was talking to himself. Distracted for a moment, she was ambushed from behind. Wenshija quickly lunged forward to catch her, not expecting that not only did she not fall, but he ended up pulling her skirt off. Mo Chanan looked down at the boy who had accidentally pulled off her skirt, her cheeks instantly flushing red. Both embarrassed and angry, she pulled up her skirt. Before he could finish his apology, she had already grabbed Wenshija by the collar and landed a heavy punch on his face, sending him staggering backward with a bloody nose. Meanwhile, in Xiushigu's office, Yihan gently placed a newspaper article about the missing body case at the girls' high school from 3 years ago on the desk. His face still wore its usual smile, but his words carried an interrogative tone. He pointed out that Xiushigu wanted to use this to frame his old rival. The other man feigned innocence to defend himself, but in reality, he made no secret of his intention to take the opportunity to eliminate his rival. Their eyes met, and the atmosphere grew slightly tense. After seeing through his true intentions, Yihan put away the newspaper, unwilling to argue further. He decided to infiltrate a high as a teacher to secretly assist Mo Chanan. On the other side, when Shija struggled to push himself up from the ground, not even bothering to wipe the blood from his face. What made him even sadder was that the big brother he had been thinking about all this time didn't recognize him at all. Mo Chanan saw this stranger not only rip her skirt, but also act familiar with her, and her anger flared even more. She raised her fist to strike again, when Shija hurriedly shouted his own name. Hearing the 3 words when Shija, Mo Chanan's fist abruptly stopped in midair, and she froze, staring at him. He took the opportunity to pull her into a tight embrace and repeatedly apologized for mistaking her gender back then. When Shija firmly stated that this time, he would never let her go again. While Mo Chanan was in a daze, he quickly took out a blue syringe and accurately injected it into the back of her neck. Mo Chanan violently pushed him away, clutching the stinging spot, and sternly questioned him. But when Shija curled his lips into a smile, smugly explaining that it was a self-developed, harmless serum that would surely be useful in the future. As soon as he finished speaking, Mo Chanan slapped him across the face. Then she backed away repeatedly, turned, and hurriedly left. This reunion, when Shija's various actions made her feel strange. When Shija opened his eyes from a daze, surprised to find his hands had become long and small, his palms stained with dark, dried blood. As he was dazed and confused, a black-haired teenager suddenly rushed forward and pulled him into a tight embrace. The teenager's movements were gentle. While stroking his hair, he whispered in his ear, promising to always protect him from now on and never be separated from him again. When Shija cautiously asked if this was a promise between them. After receiving an affirmative answer, this childhood nightmare also became beautiful. When Shija suddenly woke up from his dream, it was around 7 in the morning. He found himself lying in his familiar bed. He sat up, pressing his fingers hard against his throbbing temples. A complex and indescribable emotion appeared in his eyes. The memory of that time had once again invaded his dream, leaving him unable to calm down for a long time. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, a pink-haired woman was glaring fiercely at Zhanya in front of her. She suddenly raised her hand and slapped her hard across the face. She angrily scolded Zhanya and her companions for being reckless and overestimating their abilities, daring to directly provoke Mo Chanan. Zhanya collapsed on the ground, clutching her face, and timidly asked why Sister Su-jun was so afraid of her and what grudge was between them. But Su-jun just sneered, sarcastically saying that Zhanya was not worthy of asking about the details, and warned her not to let Uncle Lu get involved personally. Then Su-jun kicked her hard in the chest, ordering her to directly target the people around Mo Chanan next time, to set a trap and lure Mo Chanan in. Su-jun openly threatened her that if she failed again, she would send Zhanya to the nightclub run by Uncle Lu, which was in need of young girls like her. After speaking, her face darkened, and she touched the side of her face hidden by her bangs. At this moment, hearing the words Uncle Lu and nightclub, Zhang Ya's face turned deathly pale, and she trembled as she quickly agreed. As the student with the worst grades in Class F of a high, Hu Tao was never looked upon favorably. Not only that, but for the past 3 years of high school, Zhanya, who sat behind her, often made fun of her. Even her secret girlish crush was publicly humiliated by her. But being timid, she never dared to resist, only thinking of escaping her clutches after graduation. Perhaps God heard the plea of this pitiful girl. During study hall, Zhanya, who had been troubled by Sujin the day before, imperiously ordered Hu Tao to copy her homework for her. Zhanya looked at Mo Chenan, who was resting with her eyes closed nearby, and her anger flared. She threw the notebook directly at Hu Tao's head, urging her to hurry up and finish copying the homework. The people around them were indifferent to this bullying. Just as Hu Tao was repeatedly apologizing, Mo Chenan spoke up, stopping Zhanya from continuing her violence. The other girl didn't listen and continued to pull Hu Tao's hair. Mo Chenan didn't expect someone to ignore her warning and disturb her rest. She was even more surprised by how cold and indifferent this class was, ignoring the evil acts happening within it. Mo Chenan didn't care about the other blind people. She directly picked up her own desk and slammed it hard at the bully. The girl was hit by the desk and thrown several meters away. Hu Tao stared blankly as Zhang was easily dealt with. The classroom fell into a dead silence. Mo Chenan walked up to Zhanya with her hands in her pockets, mocking her for being incompetent and only bullying the weak. Mo Chenan hated people who bullied the weak and feared the strong more than anything. She looked down at Zhanya, who was gritting her teeth and trying to hold on, and announced that Hu Tao was now under her protection. If she dared to cause trouble again, she wouldn't be so lenient. Zhanya didn't take Mo Chenan seriously. She stood up with an arrogant look on her face and pointed at Mo Chenan, spouting nonsense. She didn't believe anyone would dare to challenge the gang behind her for that pathetic girl. Hu Tao also had tears in her eyes, pleading with Mo Chenan not to offend the Nehue for her. After Zhanya finished her arrogant taunts, she was met not with Mo Chenan's pleas for mercy, but with an even harder fist from her. The next morning, the hallways of the academic building were filled with whispering students. Everyone was discussing the shocking conflict in Class F from yesterday. Hu Tao happened to pass by and heard a few girls evaluating Mo Chenan in a malicious tone, and even slandering the entire Class F because of it. Hu Tao clutched the textbook in her hands, her eyes filled with self-blame and unease, because she understood that the other person was in this situation for helping her. Meanwhile, the atmosphere in the teacher's office was equally tense. Teacher Yang, the head teacher of Class F who had taken a day off, was standing with his head bowed before the Dean of Discipline, receiving a stern lecture. The dean warned coldly that if such a serious incident of school violence happened in the class again, it would not be something that could be resolved with just a warning or a demerit. Teacher Yang sighed deeply, bowed in a solemn apology, and promised to strengthen management and properly educate the students. Just then, a crisp knock came from the door. Yihan, dressed in a well-fitting black suit, pushed the door open and entered. He smiled, calmly introducing himself to the dean in the office. He told him that he was reporting for duty as the new deputy head teacher of Class F. It was his appearance that broke the tense atmosphere in the office. Meanwhile, in a secluded corner outside the school, Mo Chenan had just swiftly dealt with a group of troublemaking minions. Although Zhanya was knocked to the ground once again, she still stubbornly sneered that Mo Chenan only dared to act tough at school. But before she could finish her sentence, she glimpsed a blonde girl with a cold and fierce aura walking out from behind Mo Chenan. Her face changed drastically. Seeing the other person, she finally realized she had provoked someone she absolutely could not afford to offend. That girl was none other than Mo Chenan's younger sister, Mo Balan. Zhang had long heard that she had a grandfather with an extremely special status behind her. Having provoked these two, she was in for some bad luck. Mo Balan calmly suggested that her sister take this opportunity to force out the powers behind the other party. She knew Zhang's background. Although affiliated with the Nehue, she was actually just a peripheral member and often got entangled with delinquent gangs outside of school. The two sisters exchanged a knowing glance, their eyes revealing the warmth and nostalgia of a long-awaited reunion. At this moment, being reunited was more important than anything. Inside an abandoned warehouse, a well-dressed lady was hanging from a beam. Her young son, when Shija, stared blankly, watching her and constantly calling out Mom, hoping for her response. Mo Balan grabbed Zhanya by the collar, about to punch her in the face. Before the fist could land, Zhanya immediately begged for mercy and confessed that the mastermind was Su Zhan. Hearing the familiar name, Mo Chanan remembered the pink-haired girl from the Linan Society who had tried to snatch someone from her. She hadn't expected that person to have come to a city as well. Mo Chanan had Zhanya pass a message to Su Zhan. No matter what her current status was, she was not someone Su Zhan could mess with at will. Zhanya, looking pale, indicated she understood. After the other party left, her sister asked Mo Chanan about Su Zhan's situation. Mo Chanan told her sister that person was originally her subordinate, but not long ago, dissatisfied with the benefits within the society, she planned a mutiny, which was seen through by her. After learning about Su Zhan's matter, Mo Chanan took the opportunity to ask about the student council and the Nehui at school. Mo Balan told her sister that the student council is an organization that assists the school in maintaining campus order. The student council president, Wei Xingduan, holds absolute authority within the school. The Nehui, on the other hand, is an organization formed by delinquent students. They prohibit private fights and don't target ordinary students, so they have many supporters at school. The relationship between these two organizations is very complex. After hearing the information shared by her sister, Mo Chanan lowered her head in thought for a moment, then revealed a playful smile. After the two exchanged information, Mo Balan looked at Mo Chanan with confusion. She didn't understand why her sister had transferred to a city. Mo Chanan looked up at the sky and told her that she also couldn't figure out their grandfather's purpose in sending her here. Mo Chanan lamented her own powerlessness, still unable to control her own life after so many years. Mo Balan gently tugged and shook her sister's sleeve, pulling her out of her sense of helplessness. Then she looked into Mo Chanan's eyes and told her that she would always stand by her side. She believed her sister could definitely get what she wanted. Mo Chanan felt her sister's support and was deeply moved. In the school hallway, Teacher Yang bowed to Yihan to express his gratitude. It was thanks to him that he was saved from the awkward situation in the office just now. Yihan smiled and said it was a small effort, telling him not to be so formal. Then he took the opportunity to pull out a photo and ask about the person in it. Teacher Yang recognized the person at a glance, as when Shija, that year's outstanding graduate, his parents had passed away, and he completed his studies by working part-time. After receiving the message from Zhanya, Su Zhan flew into a rage, slamming the table and standing up abruptly. Her face was terrifyingly grim, her eyes fixed ahead. She swore in her heart to make Mo Chanan pay a painful price for everything she had done in the past. Su Zhan turned to stare at Zhanya and gave a command in an icy voice, demanding that she prepare within the next 2 days to kidnap the person closest to Mo Chanan and send them directly to Uncle Lu's shop. As long as Mo Chanan dared to step in there to save the person, she was doomed to never return. Zhanya looked at Su Zhan's eyes, which were as vicious as a viper's, and nodded in terror, not daring to say another word. At home, Hu Tao carefully baked 2 batches of handmade cookies. One batch was to be given to the senior she had a crush on, who was a member of the Nehui. The other batch was to thank Mo Chanan for stepping up to protect her. The next day, Hu Tao found Mo Chanan spacing out in a corner of the hallway and cautiously handed over the bag of meticulously wrapped cookies. She stammered out her thanks, not daring to look the other person in the eye. She thrust the cookies into Mo Chanan's hands, then turned and ran away, blushing without giving the other a chance to respond. Mo Chanan stood there, looking down at the cookies in her hand, feeling a bit dazed for a moment. She had never thought she would see a day where someone would sincerely thank her. Meanwhile, at the Nehui headquarters, Yiming was lazily lounging on the sofa, happily eating the cookies from Hu Tao. The big brother beside him was a bit surprised, teasing that he never accepted gifts from girls. So why the change of heart this time? Yiming picked up a cookie, remembered Hu Tao's shy, blushing face when she handed him the gift, and smiled unconsciously. He stuffed another cookie into his mouth and mumbled indistinctly, except for the one she gives. The big brother smiled knowingly and reminded him to protect her well. Somewhere on campus, Zhanya lowered her head, opened her phone's memo app, and listed the people who had contact with Mo Chanan. After thinking it over, she could only list 3. First, Mo Balan was absolutely off limits. She simply didn't have the ability to take her down. As for the yellow-haired boy who suddenly appeared during the duel, she couldn't even figure out his identity. After weighing her options, the only target she could go after was Hu Tao, the one she had always bullied. In the classroom of Senior Class F, Teacher Yang stood at the podium, smiling as he introduced the new deputy head teacher to the whole class. When Yihan walked into the classroom, almost all the girls' eyes lit up, and they couldn't help but gasp in admiration. Yihan's tall and slender figure, paired with a refined and sharp suit, made him incredibly handsome. Just as the whole class erupted in screams because of Yihan's witty self-introduction, Mo Chanan subconsciously half-covered her face with a textbook, lowering her head and desperately praying that he wouldn't notice her. But things didn't go as she wished. Not only did Yihan not look away, but he stood there on the podium, his gaze locked directly on her. A few girls nearby, who were initially overjoyed thinking Yihan was looking at them, soon thought the seats around Mo Chanan were empty. The only person Yihan was looking at was her. Mo Chanan also gradually sensed something was off. It wasn't just Yihan's appearance, but also the strange absence of both Hu Tao and Zhang Yi today. The pen in her hand unconsciously scribbled back and forth on the paper. A strong sense of unease gripped her. Her intuition told her that something bad was happening. And at this moment, outside the school, in a dim, abandoned warehouse, Hu Tao was kneeling on the floor. Su Zhan glanced contemptuously a few times at Hu Tao, whose hands were tied behind her back and mouth was taped shut, and let out a foolish laugh. She hadn't thought that Mo Chanan would actually have such a weak friend. She abruptly ripped the tape off Hu Tao's mouth, amidst the others' terrified questioning. She waved her hand impatiently, ordering Zhang Yi to change her out of her school uniform and send her directly to Uncle Lu's shop. Zhang Yi stood with her hands on her hips, looking down condescendingly at the trembling Hu Tao, her face full of contempt. Hu Tao forced herself to remain calm, trying to use various external pressures to make them stop, but her voice couldn't help but tremble. Zhang Yi, however, interrupted her with a cold laugh. She had already requested a leave of absence for Hu Tao from Teacher Yang. As for what she was saying, the Nehui senior was nothing in front of Uncle Lu. Hearing this, all the color drained from Hu Tao's face, and the last glimmer of hope in her eyes was extinguished. Su Zhan, at the side, smiled with even more delight. She took out her phone, held it in front of Hu Tao, and told her to call Mo Chanan for help. Her tone was light, yet it sent a chill down one's spine. Su Zhan kept trying to guide Hu Tao to call Mo Chanan, telling her that as long as she could get Mo Chanan to come out, she wouldn't have to be taken to Uncle Lu's place. Hu Tao lowered her head and took a deep breath, then looked up and told them in a trembling voice that she would not betray Mo Chanan and that they should give up. Zhang Yi didn't believe she could be so kind. She raised her hand, intending to slap Hu Tao hard across the face. The slap was stopped by Su Zhan. A bruised face wouldn't fetch a good price from Uncle Lu. As long as the news of Hu Tao being in danger got out, Mo Chanan would definitely rush over, given her personality. In the teacher's office, Mo Chanan asked Teacher Yang about Hu Tao's situation. He told her it was because she was sick and didn't come to class. Upon learning this, Mo Chanan didn't ask any more questions and intended to leave. But Teacher Yang stopped her. Looking into her eyes, he praised her with a sincere expression for her righteous act in the classroom. Although this incident was severely criticized by the school, he still felt that her actions at the time were correct. Teacher Yang held his water cup with both hands and gently told Mo Chanan that he hoped next time she could use a gentler method to solve problems. This experience was foreign to Mo Chanan. She had never encountered such a gentle teacher. She thanked the teacher and left the office. As soon as Mo Chanan left the office, the female teacher, sitting opposite Teacher Yang, pushed up her glasses and began to critique his teaching methods. One couldn't be too gentle with such a violent student. Teacher Yang gave an awkward smile. He understood that Mo Chanan was a student who could reason. In the Nehui, Yiming saw a photo of Hu Tao on his phone. He hadn't expected her to be captured and taken to Uncle Lu's shop. He immediately put down his phone and begged his boss to let him go save Hu Tao. Everyone in the society knew of Uncle Lu's reputation and strongly opposed him going to the rescue. They even told him not to worry, that one wouldn't lose their life at Uncle Lu's hands. Hearing his companion's cold and harsh objections, Yiming shouted at them to shut up. Hu Tao was an extremely important person to him. He had to save her. The boss, who had been silent for a while, saw that everyone had quieted down. He offered Yiming a solution. let Yiming find Mo Chinan, who wasn't a member of the Nehui, for assistance. As for the specifics, he believed Yiming already had a plan in mind. He had only one condition. Yiming could not reveal his identity as a member of the Nehui. After discussing the plan with the big brother, when Yiming found Mo Chinan without hesitation and sincerely requested her help, he also made a solemn promise to Mo Chinan. As long as Hu Tao was rescued, no matter what kind of request she made, he would agree. Mo Balan was immediately furious after hearing this. She knew all too well that this was clearly a trap aimed at her sister. She told Mo Chinan with certainty that the mastermind behind this must be Su Jun and firmly prevented her sister from rashly agreeing to win Yiming. When Yiming's heart sank, he realized that this rescue plan, on which he had placed high hopes, was likely to fall through because of Mo Balan's opposition. However, just at this moment, Mo Chanan, who had been silent all along, suddenly spoke. She asked when Yiming for the specific address of that nightclub. She then patted his shoulder, telling him to stand up straight and talk, and stated that with Hu Tao in deep peril, she would absolutely not stand by and do nothing. Seeing her sister as decisive and righteous as ever, Mo Balan immediately proposed to go along to save her. Faced with her sister's determined and non-negotiable expression, just like when they were children, Mo Chinan nodded slightly, agreeing to her request to join the operation. Immediately after, the two sisters, full of fighting spirit and imposing momentum, prepared to gather people in charge directly to the nightclub to launch the rescue. When Yiming immediately spoke up to stop them, saying that this operation couldn't be a frontal assault, it would be best to disguise themselves as staff and sneak in, avoiding a direct confrontation as much as possible. Mo Chinan and Mo Balan were instantly shocked, both frozen in place. They never expected that a rescue mission would require disguising their identities. As night fell, the three of them quietly arrived near the nightclub, ready to begin. When Yiming took out the pre-prepared female staff ID cards and gave them to the Mo sisters, telling them to wear them and go in with him. At the same time, he instructed them to split up after entering, to quietly search for Hu Tao's location and not to alert the enemy. The Mo sisters agreed, then coolly ripped off their jackets, revealing their stylish action outfits, and set off. After the three arrived at the nightclub entrance, they were told by the staff that only black card guests were being admitted today. And as it happened, when Yiming did not have a black card, just as when Yiming felt that today's plan was hopeless, the two Mo sisters tacitly stepped into the club. When Yiming, left behind, hurriedly called out to the two sisters, telling them not to act on their own. Mo Chunan turned back, revealing a determined smile. She said that since they had come this far, retreating would only arouse suspicion. She confidently promised that she would definitely rescue the person and told him to wait at the back door with peace of mind. Hearing this, when Yiming clenched his fists, thinking to himself that he couldn't just watch the two of them, two girls, go in to save someone. He had to find a way to get inside. Meanwhile, in a house on one side of the city, a surveillance screen instantly displayed many photos of Mo Chinan. As when Shija operated the mouse, the surveillance monitor clearly showed Mo Chinan's location at the Jincheng nightclub. When Shija was suddenly puzzled, he couldn't understand why Mo Chinan would be there. After Mo Chinan led Mo Balan into the nightclub, she found the place empty. Realizing they couldn't find Uncle Lu this way, Mo Chinan decided to stick to the original plan and split up to investigate in order to find Uncle Lu's location quickly. Before they separated, she reminded Mo Balan to maintain her disguise and be careful. Suddenly, a woman with glasses walked towards them. She immediately sensed that something was off about the Mo sisters' appearance and questioned them loudly. Mo Chinan quickly lied, claiming they had just started working there and had gotten lost as they were unfamiliar with the place. The woman with glasses, Li Wenyan, her expression turning cold and stern, immediately exposed Mo Chinan's lie, stating that all the staff in the shop were registered and known. Mo Chinan hadn't expected them to be exposed so quickly, so she signaled Mo Balan to grab the woman with glasses and get information. Mo Balan immediately stepped forward, raised her leg, and delivered a powerful roundhouse kick towards the woman's face. The move was so fast, it gave the other person no time to react. The woman with glasses was completely stunned, having no idea what had just happened. Outside, Wen Yiming, who had been waiting anxiously, was running out of patience. He forced himself to calm down and think of a way. Suddenly, he had a flash of inspiration. He thought of disguising himself as a woman to get into the nightclub. Although the idea made him feel a bit ashamed, he decided to go all out for Hu Tao's sake. Besides, the Mo sisters had already taken a risk to help him. He had even less reason not to go. Mo Chanan looked at the unconscious woman with glasses, suspecting that Mo Balan might have been a bit too heavy-handed. Mo Balan meekly explained that her kick just now had only used 30 of her strength, not enough to knock someone out. Hearing this, Mo Chanan realized the woman with glasses was faking it, so she threatened that if she kept pretending, she would make her die again. The woman with glasses was about to break down. She never expected that girls these days were all so terrifying. Mo Chanan described Hu Tao's appearance and asked the woman with glasses if she had seen Hu Tao being brought to the nightclub. The woman didn't dare to hide anything and quickly told them that Hu Tao was hidden in the lounge on the first basement level. After getting the exact location, the Mo sisters planned to rush to the first basement level to rescue Hu Tao. In a private room, Zhanya reported the progress to Su Jun, telling her that Mo Chanan and her group had been led to Lounge 9 on the first floor. She also stated that dozens of adult men had been placed in ambush there in advance, just waiting for Mo Chanan to appear to capture her in one fell swoop. Su Jun was extremely satisfied with this arrangement. She couldn't wait to see the look of agony on Mo Chanan's face. Su Jun was filled with interest in torturing Mo Chanan. Even if she didn't act, the Uncle Lu behind her wouldn't let Mo Chanan go. This was the first time Zhang had heard of this Uncle Lu, and she was curious why he wanted to capture Mo Chanan. Su Zhan was in a very good mood today and couldn't help but tell Zhanya that Mo Chinan's grandfather was Uncle Lu's sworn enemy. So now that Mo Chinan was on Uncle Lu's territory, Su Jin knew without guessing that Uncle Lu would not let her have an easy time. On the first basement level, inside Lounge 9, neon lights flickered, crowds surged, and the music was deafening. It was extremely lively. The Mo sisters frowned, their faces full of impatience with the noisy environment. But in order to find Hu Tao, they had no choice but to force themselves to stay. They decided to make it quick, find her, and leave this troublesome place immediately. However, they didn't notice at all that two men behind them were pointing at their figures and making comments. One of the men called out to them, saying he wanted to get to know them. Mo Chunan bluntly said she had an appointment and rejected them. Seeing this, the man deliberately mentioned his status as a black card user, trying to use it as leverage. Just as the two sides were at a standstill, when Yiming, disguised as a woman, appeared behind them and said he could drink with them. The man heard the voice and turned his head to see a tall, stunning beauty with bright red hair. His eyes immediately glazed over. Looking at this suddenly appeared beauty, the Mo sisters felt a sense of both familiarity and strangeness, their hearts filled with confusion. When Yiming saw the two of them standing there dumbfounded and reminded them in a low voice to leave quickly. Hearing the familiar voice, the sisters instantly showed shocked expressions. Only then did they recognize the person in front of them as Wen Yiming, being stared at so intently by the two of them. When Yiming felt a bit uncomfortable and hurriedly urged them to leave. Mo Balan couldn't help but remark that Wen Yiming had a real talent for cross-dressing. Mo Chinan also didn't know where to even begin with her comments. The two men escorted Wen Yiming out, eagerly asking him what kind of alcohol he liked to drink and offering to buy him a drink. Watching this cringe-worthy scene, the Mo sisters were utterly shocked. This was blatant harassment. Wen Yiming secretly gritted his teeth, vowing to get rid of these two who were touching him sooner or later. He kept telling himself to endure it and not to act rashly before rescuing Hu Tao. The Mo sisters praised Wen Yiming as a warrior and then quickly left. They couldn't waste the opportunity Wen Yiming had created for them. In a luxurious room on the top floor with exquisite and elegant furnishings, Hu Tao was lying quietly on a large bed. Zhanya warned her that there were people outside, not to try to escape, and told her to take the clothes from the cabinet and change into them. After Zhanya left, Hu Tao sat up from the bed and picked up the small knife she had hidden in the bedding, which she usually used for sharpening pencils. She knew she couldn't just wait for her doom. She had to find a way to escape and call the police. On the other side, the two men dragged Wen Yiming to a small private room in the lounge, saying they would take him to Brother Lu's room on the top floor later. When Yiming realized that this Uncle Lu wasn't on the first basement level at all and decided to get information from these two men. Suddenly, when Yiming was pushed onto the sofa by the blue-haired man, he took the opportunity to feign interest in Hu Tao's situation. The other man had heard about Hu Tao and told Wen Yiming that Hu Tao was in the VIP room on the top floor. Then, thinking Wen Yiming also wanted to go have fun in the VIP area, he casually asked if he wanted to go. Wen Yiming immediately put on an interested look and said he wanted to go. The man took out his black card that gave direct access to the top floor and showed it off in front of Wen Yiming, asking him to go up with him. Wen Yiming immediately agreed. He hadn't expected things to go so unexpectedly smoothly. Subsequently, Mo Chanan, who was on the first basement level, received a text message from Wen Yiming. She was very surprised to learn that Hu Tao was on the top floor. She remembered the woman with glasses had clearly said Hu Tao was on the first basement level. Only then did she realize she had been deceived. However, danger had already arrived. The two sisters were surrounded by a group of burly men in black. They took out their weapons and threatened the Mo sisters to go with them, or else they would get rough. Mo Chenan and Mo Balan's expressions immediately soured. They knew this was bad. They had fallen into a trap. One of the burly men grabbed Mo Chenan's shoulder, stating that their boss specifically wanted to see her and told her to come with them obediently. However, Mo Chanan was unmoved. Her eyes turned cold, and she snatched the baseball bat from the man's hand with one swift move. With her other hand, she formed a fist and swung at the man. Mo Balan, at the side, could no longer stand watching this group lay hands on her sister. She instantly leaped up and delivered a powerful kick to the man's chest. The man was sent flying, crashing heavily against the opposite wall. As he fell, he happened to hit the light switch, and the entire space suddenly lit up. The brilliant light illuminated Mo Chunan's domineering and awe-inspiring figure. She coldly warned the group not to think they could easily defeat her. Hearing this, the burly men were instantly furious and flustered. They had never seen such an arrogant girl with such incredible skills. They were both angry and shocked. Seeing that the group of burly men remained unmoved, the Mo sisters didn't want to get further entangled with them and decided to end it quickly and go to the top floor to save the person. The leader of the burly men didn't believe they couldn't beat these two girls, so he furiously gave the order for all his brothers to attack. Despite being outnumbered, Mo Chunan and Mo Balan showed no fear and decided to focus their energy on quickly taking them down. In the fight, Mo Balan sent a burly man flying with a single punch. It was hard to imagine that her slender arms could unleash such astonishing power. And Mo Chinan's combat prowess was even more outstanding. With just a swing of the baseball bat in her hand, several burly men were sent flying, completely unable to defend themselves. After Mo Balan finished off the opponents on her side, she immediately held daggers in a reverse grip, did an aerial flip, and jumped to Mo Chinan's side to provide support. Mo Chunan saw the daggers in Mo Balan's hands and wondered why she would carry such dangerous items with her. Mo Balan quickly shook her head and denied it, explaining that these low-quality weapons were snatched from the group of burly men just now and were not her own. Just then, when Shija, also following the navigation, arrived at the Jincheng nightclub, the tracker showed that Mo Chanan was on the first basement level. Just as he was about to act, he happened to encounter a group of thugs rushing to the first basement level, intending to capture Mo Chanan. Luckily, he reacted quickly and hid in time. After a fierce struggle, Mo Chanan and her group finally finished off all the burly men. They quickly left, rushing to the top floor to save the person before more people arrived. Mo Chanan remembered there was an elevator with direct access to the top floor not far away. She led Mo Balan and ran towards the elevator. During junior high, Hu Tao was constantly harassed by a pervert. He would wait for her near her house almost every day, until one day, when Yiming appeared and sent the pervert flying with a single kick. At that time, when Yiming was a third-year junior high student and a notorious delinquent, said to have bullied quite a few people. After chasing away the pervert, when Yiming cornered Hu Tao against a wall, and with an arrogant look, told her not to mistakenly think he was there to save her. He lowered his head, stared into Hu Tao's eyes, and warned warned her not to tell anyone about what happened today, or else he, being a bad guy, would beat her up. Hu Tao was scared to tears by Wen Yiming's fierce gaze, repeatedly insisting she wouldn't tell and begging him not to hit her. Wen Yiming laughed after hearing this. He told Hu Tao that the reason she got bullied was because she was so timid. Then, Wen Yiming reminded Hu Tao to carry pepper spray with her when she went out from now on, and then turned and left. Hu Tao hesitated for a moment, then stepped forward and grabbed Wen Yiming's sleeve, telling him her thought that he wasn't a bad person. On the contrary, in Hu Tao's heart, she believed Wen Yiming was a good person with a sense of justice and a thoughtful mind. Although Wen Yiming initially called himself a bad guy and denied that he had intentionally saved her, Hu Tao knew clearly that he did it on purpose so that she wouldn't feel indebted to him. In the VIP room on the top floor, Hu Tao didn't know why she suddenly thought of her first encounter with Wen Yiming. Perhaps it was because the timid her, when faced with danger, hoped someone would save her. This time, too, she hoped Wen Yiming would appear and save her like last time. But reason told her she had to rely on herself this time. She gripped the knife in her hand, as if she could console herself this way. She struggled to stand up, but fear almost made her give up. She didn't know what to do to save herself. She forced herself to take a deep breath and calm down, repeatedly telling herself inwardly not to expect others to come to her rescue. Mo Chenan and Mo Balan finally ran to the elevator that went directly to the top floor, but found that it required a VIP black card to operate. At this moment, Uncle Lu was sitting in front of a computer, watching their every move through the surveillance cameras. Su Zhan told Uncle Lu that without a black card, Mo Chenan and her group couldn't escape. Moreover, she had already arranged for people to rush to the elevator entrance to capture them. Uncle Lu hadn't expected Xiao Shiguo's two granddaughters to have actually escaped their earlier capture attempt. He found the two sisters quite interesting. In a short while, the people Su Zhan had arranged had already arrived at the elevator entrance and saw Mo Chenan and her group. Mo Chenan and Mo Balan looked surprised, not expecting these people to arrive so quickly. Uncle Lu saw that Mo Chenan and her group were surrounded, seemingly with no way to escape. Thinking the game was about to end, he suddenly felt bored. The elevator was inaccessible, and the only passage was blocked. Mo Chenan didn't know what to do either. As the two sides were at a standstill, the elevator behind them suddenly opened. It was Wen Shizha. He quickly pulled Mo Chenan into the elevator. Startled, Mo Chenan turned her head and saw the person behind her was Wen Shizha, leaving her full of confusion and curiosity. Mo Balan was also full of questions, but she had no time to ask. She quickly ducked into the elevator. Then they swiftly closed the elevator doors, swiped the card, and went up, leaving the group of thugs howling outside. Uncle Lu turned the computer screen towards Su Zhan and the others, telling them that the Mo sisters had escaped after all. Su Zhan had a look of disbelief on her face. She couldn't understand why someone with a black card would appear at the elevator. Inside the elevator, Mo Balan held up a knife, warily questioning Wen Shizha's identity and demanding to know his purpose for saving them. Wen Shizha hadn't expected Mo Balan's reaction to be so intense. He hurriedly gave his name and stated that he was on their side. At this point, Mo Chenan, who was still being held by Wen Shizha, lost her patience. She snapped at him, asking how long he was going to hold on, and ordered him to let go immediately. Hearing this, Wen Shizha's face turned bright red with embarrassment, and he hastily apologized to Mo Chenan. Mo Balan, fiercely protective of her sister, immediately jumped up and kicked Wen Shizha, shouting at him to let go of Mo Chenan at once. At this time, Wen Yiming followed the two men to the top floor. He knew in his heart that Hu Tao was hidden in one of the rooms here. On the way here, just now, he noticed that only the VIP 5 room had bodyguards standing guard outside. Two men half-dragged, half-pulled Wen Yiming into a room. Then they pushed him onto the bed. Wen Yiming outwardly complied, unbuttoning his clothes, but inwardly he was plotting how to take care of these two men and then go rescue Hu Tao. Mo Chenan's grandfather received news that the two sisters had gone to the nightclub, feeling that these two kids were really a handful. Yihan told Xiao Shiguo to leave the cleanup work to him and not to worry. Xiao Shiguo agreed. Besides, he firmly believed that his granddaughter was no pushover who could be bullied by just anyone. On Mo Chinan's side, when Shija failed to dodge Mo Balan's kick and was beaten black and blue. After the misunderstanding was cleared up, Mo Balan sincerely apologized to Wen Shija for her reckless behavior, saying she didn't do it on purpose. Mo Chanan was puzzled as to why Wen Shija would appear at the Jincheng nightclub and even have a black car for this place. Wen Shija explained that he was just passing by and that he had found the black card on the street. Wen Shija didn't want to go back. He knew Mo Chanan and the others were in trouble. He asked Mo Chanan to let him stay and help. Mo Chanan looked at the persistently pleading Wen Shija. His current expression was exactly the same as the him from her childhood memories. Mo Chanan couldn't help but fall into reminiscence. Back then, when Shija, still a child, was injured and lying unconscious on the ground. She looked at his motionless form, filled with self-blame, feeling that it was because she wasn't strong enough that when Shija had encountered danger. That memory was like a thorn stuck in her heart. So she still gritted her teeth and cruelly refused to let Wen Shija stay, even resorting to harsh words to humiliate him, saying he would only be a burden and couldn't help at all. She told Wen Shija to leave immediately and never appear before her again. Just then, a thug appeared out of nowhere, lunging at Mo Chanan with a knife in his hand. Wen Shija reacted in an instant, dashing in front of Mo Chanan and taking the knife for her. The injured Wen Shija still didn't forget to express his desire to protect her to Mo Chanan, begging her not to make him leave. Top floor, room 2608. The two men had long since stripped naked impatiently, staring lecherously at Wen Yiming, their faces filled with greed and urgency. But after taking off his coat, Wen Yiming made no further moves. They thought Wen Yiming was shy and offered to help him undress. Without a second thought, Wen Yiming coldly refused, saying he didn't need their help and could do it himself. But as Wen Yiming unbuttoned and removed his shirt, the two men were instantly dumbfounded, wondering where Wen Yiming's chest had gone. Wen Yiming finally dropped the act. He laid his cards on the table, calling them idiots, saying he had been putting up with them for a long time and telling them to go to hell. With that, he threw a sudden punch. It landed heavily on the long-haired man's face, the force so great it brought tears to the man's eyes as he fell to the ground crying in pain. 2 minutes later, Wen Yiming had already subdued and tied up both men. To this moment, the two men still couldn't believe Wen Yiming was a man. They wept bitterly, feeling they had been greatly deceived and hurt, accusing Wen Yiming of how he could disguise his identity to trick people. Meanwhile, on Mo Chinan's side, the group of thugs that had just rushed and were all swiftly and cleanly taken care of by her in a short while. Mo Balan noticed something was off with her sister and asked if Mo Chanan was okay. Mo Chanan said she was fine and told her not to worry. Mo Chanan then made arrangements, telling Mo Balan and Wen Shija to stay here as backup while she herself went up to meet with Wen Yiming. Wen Shija obediently said he was fine, that his injury wasn't serious, and that he wanted to go up with her. But Mo Chanan decisively rejected his request, firmly demanding he stay put and rest, and asked Mo Balan to take good care of him. After her sister left, Mo Balan spoke bluntly to Wen Shija. The timing of his appearance was too perfect, which made her feel it was full of suspicious points. Besides, he had a black card that was difficult for ordinary people to obtain. She felt there was no such thing as a coincidence, making it hard not to be suspicious of his motives. Mo Balan warned Wen Shija that if he did anything to harm Mo Chanan, she would eliminate him with her own hands. On the top floor, to blend in, Wen Yiming changed back into women's clothes and began to look for Hu Tao. Hearing footsteps outside the door, Hu Tao immediately became vigilant, tightly gripping the knife in her hand. A moment later, the door was opened. Hu Tao immediately seized the opportunity and lunged with the knife. However, before she could even touch the thug, the knife was slapped out of her hand by the person. Next, the thug grabbed Hu Tao's neck, telling her to behave. Hu Tao struggled and resisted. Seeing this, the thug pushed her onto the bed, threatening to strangle her to death if she didn't cooperate. The pain of suffocation made Hu Tao think she was about to die, but she didn't want to give up so easily. So, while the thug was distracted, she forcefully lifted her leg and delivered a vicious blow to his crotch. The thug instantly let out a painful howl. Clutching the injured area, he was furious, not expecting Hu Tao to dare kick him. Seeing the thug was now immobilized, Hu Tao immediately ran off the bed to pick up the knife she had dropped earlier. Just then, a rustling sound came from the doorway. Someone was opening the door. Hu Tao's nerves instantly tensed. Thinking it was the thug's accomplice drawn by the noise, she fearfully waved the knife, telling them not to come closer. The door creaked open, and in walked Wen Yiming. Seeing Hu Tao so terrified and uneasy, he repeatedly told her to calm down. Hearing someone call her name, Hu Tao instantly quieted down. Seeing a great beauty before her, she widened her eyes in surprise. Wen Yiming, looking at Hu Tao, who was trembling with fear, felt his heart clench painfully. It hurt terribly. In his memory, Hu Tao had always been cute and charming, her eyes lively and bright, as if they held the entire brilliant starry sky. He was filled with regret, hating himself for not protecting Hu Tao and letting her suffer such a terrifying experience. Unable to suppress the ache in his heart any longer, he stepped forward and hugged Hu Tao tightly, repeatedly apologizing and comforting her not to be afraid. Hu Tao gradually came to her senses. Hearing the familiar voice, she finally recognized that the great beauty before her was Wen Yiming. And so Hu Tao, who had been terrified all this time, finally couldn't hold back and began to wail, venting all her fear. Wen Yiming once again softly comforted her, telling her that he was here and would definitely not let her get hurt again. Just then, the thug who had been kicked recovered and ran out. Seeing Wen Yiming, he mistook him for one of his own and ordered Wen Yiming to grab Hu Tao. When Wen Yiming didn't react, the thug found his face unfamiliar and suspiciously asked if he was new. Only then did Hu Tao notice that Wen Yiming was wearing women's clothes. She had been too nervous just now to notice it all. Wen Yiming ignored the thug's question. A fierce glint flashed in his eyes, and without another word, he threw a punch at the thug. After hitting him, he quickly grabbed Hu Tao's hand and ran. Hu Tao's gaze fell on his back, and her heart suddenly started pounding. Feeling the warmth from Wen Yiming's hand, the fear in Hu Tao's heart instantly vanished without a trace. Wen Yiming's timely appearances every time, his help without asking for anything in return, made Hu Tao's heart quietly beat for him. Hu Tao felt she was just a coward. She had a secret crush on Wen Yiming from the second year of middle school to the third year of high school, but never had the courage to confess to him. This time, after being kidnapped, Hu Tao blamed herself for her weakness and incompetence, which caused Wen Yiming to put himself in danger to save her. But to be rescued by the person she liked, Hu Tao already felt very happy. She told Wen Yiming to let go, saying that the two of them couldn't escape. She was already very content just to be able to see him here. Just then, the other thugs from the nightclub caught up. One of them told Wen Yiming to hand over Hu Tao. Wen Yiming directly slapped the thug across the face and, in the same motion, pressed down on his head to control him. Wen Yiming told Hu Tao it was too early to talk about giving up. He would fight until the very end. A group of thugs surrounded Wen Yiming and the others, then simultaneously launched a fierce attack on Wen Yiming. Seeing this, Hu Tao's heart instantly clenched. She loudly warned Wen Yiming to be careful. The opponents were numerous, and almost all of them were armed. Although Wen Yiming fought hard, he was clearly struggling and in a perilous situation. Suddenly, a baseball bat slipped past Wen Yiming's arm, pressed against his waist, and pushed him toward a safer place behind. Seeing Wen Yiming covered in wounds, Hu Tao was heartbroken, feeling that she had dragged him into this. Seeing that Wen Yiming was outnumbered, the thug shouted that neither of them could escape and told Hu Tao to come over. Mo Chenan, who had just arrived at the side, couldn't watch any longer. She retorted to the group of thugs that they were speaking too soon. She was very curious what kind of person the thug's boss, Uncle Liu, was to always resort to this disgusting human wave tactic. Mo Chenan assumed a fighting stance and told Wen Yiming and Hu Tao to leave quickly, leaving this for her to handle. Hu Tao looked with a shocked expression at the suddenly appearing Mo Chenan, wondering why she was here. In the time it took to speak, Mo Chenan had already swiftly taken down several people, signaling for Hu Tao and the others to escape to the elevator at the end of the hallway. She told Wen Yiming and Hu Tao that someone was waiting in the elevator to help them, and that they would be safe once they got on. Wen Yiming couldn't bear to leave a girl behind to face the danger alone, so he suggested that Mo Chenan take Hu Tao and leave. He would stay behind. Hearing this, Mo Chenan felt that when Yiming was looking down on her, she clearly stated that she didn't like being seen that way. She patted Wen Yiming's shoulder, saying there were too many of them, and telling him to quickly take Hu Tao, escape, and get reinforcements. Wen Yiming was deeply moved by Mo Chenan's character. He had never met such a special girl like Mo Chenan, so he decided to listen to Mo Chenan. After thanking her, he picked up Hu Tao and ran towards the elevator. But Hu Tao didn't want to leave. She didn't want to leave Mo Chenan here alone. She felt she was just a coward, causing everyone to face danger to save her. She wasn't worthy of everyone's sacrifice and effort. Mo Chenan told Hu Tao that it was the first time she had ever received handmade cookies from someone, and Hu Tao had even said thank you to her. This was also the first time she had been thanked for fighting. She held this touching moment in her heart. That's why when Hu Tao was kidnapped, she agreed to come and rescue her without hesitation. To ease Hu Tao's psychological burden, Mo Chenan said the cookies were delicious and asked if Hu Tao would be willing to make them for her again. After hearing Mo Chenan's heartfelt words, Hu Tao was moved to tears. Just then, Su Jun relayed Uncle Lu's latest order for the thugs to prioritize capturing Mo Chenan and to ignore the others for now. Su Jun even deliberately repeated this capture order. This move confused Mo Chenan. Mo Balan realized that their target was Mo Chenan and hurriedly shouted to warn her. Mo Chenan told Mo Balan to take everyone and escape, not to worry about her, saying she could handle it alone. Mo Balan felt her sister was just like before, always shouldering everything by herself, never trying to rely on her. Seeing the change in plans, when Shija also told Mo Balan to take everyone and leave first. He would stay behind to help Mo Chenan. Without waiting for Mo Balan to agree, he closed the elevator doors and sent them off to escape. Seeing Mo Chenan facing so many opponents alone, when Shija quickly called out to her, his heart ached that Mo Chenan hadn't rested at all, and he told her to avoid the fight for now to conserve her strength, not to get into a contest of stamina with those people. Mo Chenan didn't expect when Shija to have not left. She couldn't understand why when Shija had come over. She looked at the trapped Mo Chenan and smugly announced that the game was over. Mo Chenan knew Su Jun had joined Uncle Lu and extended her reach into the school just to lure her out. She mocked Su Jun for being the same as before, going to such great lengths and taking such a roundabout way just to catch her. Su Jun told Mo Chenan to cut the crap, then revealed a sinister smile, saying she was in for it today. When Shija told Mo Chenan to leave quickly and leave this to him, Mo Chenan thought he was joking. When Shija said he was serious, he told Mo Chenan that so many years had passed and he was no longer the person he used to be. When his parents passed away in his childhood, a pitiful when Shija squatted in his family's living room. He kept calling for his mom and dad. He looked at the piano in the living room, remembering the wonderful scenes of his parents accompanying him as he practiced. But now all these beautiful things were gone. There was no one to accompany him in his piano practice anymore. At this time, Mo Chenan, who knew when Shija's parents had passed away, came to Shija and urged him to eat and rest, not to ruin his health. When Shija looked up at Mo Chenan and froze on the spot for a moment because he couldn't remember who Mo Chenan was. After a while, when Shija finally remembered, Mo Chenan was the person brought by the old grandfather who had attended his parents' funeral. And he had also said that Mo Chenan would be living with him from now on. Seeing when Shija remained silent, Mo Chenan asked him if he was listening to her at all. She advised when Shija not to stay depressed, or else no problems could be solved. When Shija finally spoke, but his meaning was for Mo Chenan to leave him alone. In the evening, when Shija was walking alone on the street, two people who knew him saw him and began to taunt him with sarcastic remarks. However, when Shija looked blank, not recognizing them at all, the two men confessed they had disliked when Shija for a long time. This time, seeing he was alone, they immediately threw a rock at him. When Shija's head immediately started bleeding profusely, the intense pain made him cry out. This was the first time he had been injured outside. In the past, whenever he went out, his father and bodyguards would protect him. This experience of getting hurt made him deeply realize that from now on, he was all alone. Seeing when Shija in a daze, the man in green angrily stepped forward and punched him. Throughout the whole process, Wen Shizhe didn't fight back. He just wanted to be beaten to death by them. Seeing Wen Shizhe in this state, Mo Chanan reminded him that once you choose weakness, you will never dare to be strong again. Mo Chanan knew that the hardest person to defeat is oneself. She questioned Wen Shizhe, is it really okay to choose to lose to yourself? Wen Shizhe didn't expect Mo Chanan to appear here, and her words struck a chord deep in his heart. The man in green was very displeased by Mo Chanan's appearance. He claimed to be the boss here and told Mo Chanan to state her identity. However, Mo Chanan hated it most when someone called themselves boss in front of her. She directly slammed the man in green to the ground with one palm. The green-clad man's underling was terrified by Mo Chanan's skills. Mo Chanan stood up, turned, grabbed the underling's clothes, and single-handedly lifted him up and threw him forward forcefully. After dealing with the two, Mo Chanan felt they were very weak and mocked them for daring to be thugs. Mo Chanan picked up her clothes from the ground, put them on, and said it was getting late and time to go home. Afterward, Mo Chanan easily picked up Wen Shizhe and carried him home. Wen Shizhe felt very uncomfortable about this. Mo Chanan noticed his shyness and said that no one was around and that he was injured and shouldn't walk. Wen Shizhe wondered why Mo Chanan came to save him. He had clearly told her to leave him alone before. Mo Chanan told him it was because, through his eyes, she saw his silent plea for help, that he didn't want to be alone. Wen Shizhe knew that when he was in danger, deep down, he still hoped someone would come to save him. He hoped his father would come to save him. But when he realized his father was dead and no one could save him, he chose to give up on himself. He didn't expect that a problem he couldn't even face himself would be pointed out so clearly by Mo Chanan. Mo Chanan knew what Wen Shizhe was thinking and solemnly emphasized to him that he was not alone. Wen Shizhe was very puzzled. He couldn't understand how Mo Chanan could see through him so easily. On the way back, Wen Shizhe opened his heart to Mo Chanan, telling her that he wanted to find the murderer who killed his father. To the question Mo Chanan had asked him earlier, he also responded seriously, saying he would no longer choose to lose to himself. It was after this day that Wen Shizhe felt Mo Chanan had saved him, so he wanted to protect her forever from then on. He promised Mo Chanan that no matter what difficulties he encountered, he would never choose to give up. After speaking, he held Mo Chanan's face and affectionately told her to rest assured and leave it to him. He promised he wouldn't let her get hurt. Mo Chanan didn't understand Wen Shizhe's meaning at first. Her eyes filled with confusion. The next second, Wen Shizhe hugged Mo Chanan, pulled a gun from his chest pocket, and shot the enemy's weapon out of their hand. Mo Chanan was shocked to see the gun, surprised that Wen Shizhe had one. But when she looked closely, she realized it was fake. The thugs were also startled by Wen Shizhe's gun, wondering about his background. Su Zhan saw the thug showing signs of retreat and angrily berated them, telling them the gun was fake. However, with a few bangs from Wen Shizhe's gun, the weapons of the first few thugs were all shot out of their hands. Montak Shenan Mavilet. Wen Shizhe's marksmanship was incredibly clean and efficient. Every shot was aimed at the enemy's weapon, just as he had promised. Wen Shizhe was proving with his actions his determination and ability to protect Mo Chanan. Then, Wen Shizhe pulled out another gun, firing with both hands, shielding Mo Chanan behind him. For a moment, the sounds of gunshots and screams echoed across the top floor. Seeing this, even Su Zhan had to admire Wen Shizhe's formidable strength. At the same time, she was jealous that Mo Chanan had such a strong man by her side. After Mo Balan escaped with Hu Tao, they ran into Yi Han, who had come to help. Meanwhile, one of the thugs on the top floor also had a gun. He raised it behind Wen Shizhe's back and then pulled the trigger. Wen Shizhe looked completely calm. He just lifted the gun in his right hand and blocked the bullet. The thug fired several more shots in succession, but he couldn't hit Wen Shizhe. Wen Shizhe's hands moved up, down, left, and right, using the guns in his hands to block all the bullets. Mo Chanan watched this scene in disbelief. She never expected Wen Shizhe to actually use guns to block bullets. Wen Shizhe immediately counterattacked. However, after firing 2 or 3 shots, the gun in his hand suddenly made a clicking sound. Mo Chanan quietly reminded him that the sound meant the gun was out of bullets. Seeing this, Su Zhan knew the time to capture them had come and immediately ordered all the thugs to charge at once. when Shija turned and hugged Mo Chunan, telling her not to be afraid and that he wouldn't let her get hurt. Just then, a bullet hit when Shija in the back. Mo Chunan saw him bleeding and realized he had been shot. When Shija forced a smile, claiming the bullets weren't real and that it was just a graze. He said the bleeding just looked a little scary. Seeing when Shija putting on a brave front, Mo Chunan's heart ached and she shed tears. She told him to stop pretending to be strong. Just then, Yihan arrived with his men. He opened by complaining that Uncle Lu's security guards couldn't take a hit. Yihan stated that their people had already surrounded the nightclub and the police were on their way. He told Su-jun to surrender immediately. Hearing this, Su-jun had no choice but to raise her hands and surrender. She hadn't expected Yihan and his people to show up here and even call the police. When Shija finally couldn't hold on any longer, he leaned against Mo Chunan. Yihan apologized to Mo Chunan for his late arrival and told her that everything outside had been taken care of and they could leave through the main entrance. Mo Chunan nodded slightly, saying it was fine and that she felt she had troubled Yihan. Yihan grabbed Shija's arm, pulled him up, and warned him to stay away from Mo Chunan. Yihan told Mo Chunan to go check on Mo Balan, who was crying anxiously, and that he would help take care of Shija. Mo Chunan said she understood, but inwardly, she wondered if Yihan had been angry just now. When Yiming and Mo Balan, seeing that Mo Chunan was safe, finally let go of the worries in their hearts. Montak Bailin happily hugged Montak Shenan. This time, they could finally leave together. Yihan and Shija were exchanging polite greetings, introducing themselves to each other, even though they both already knew who the other was. Yihan had to admit that Shija was bold. He actually dared to put a tracking device on Mo Chunan. But Shija felt that if it weren't for his tracker, Yihan and his people wouldn't have been able to find this place so quickly. These words annoyed Yihan. He grabbed Shija by the neck and pinned him against the wall. He warned Shija not to be so self-righteous, that the only man who could be by Mo Chunan's side was him. Yihan didn't see Shija as a threat at all, because he knew he was the one who had been by Mo Chunan's side for a long time. When Hu Tao saw Mo Chunan come out, she rushed over to show her concern and promised to make cookies for her every day from now on. Everything had settled. Seeing that everyone was okay, Mo Chunan was relieved. Mo Balan, looking at the sunrise slowly appearing on the distant horizon, felt that it was dawn and time to go home, so she made the suggestion to Mo Chunan. Yihan and Shija also came out. Yihan urged Mo Chunan and the others to hurry back to school because he knew none of them had taken leave and their head teacher was worried sick. Mo Chunan said she understood. She asked Yihan if she could borrow his house to settle the injured when Shija there. When Hu Tao saw Yihan, she completely freaked out. She couldn't understand why her teacher was here. Yihan agreed to Mo Chunan's proposal and offered to help arrange for a doctor to go over. Yihan took off his own coat and draped it over Mo Chunan, saying the morning temperature was a bit low and he was worried she would catch a cold. Mo Chunan thanked Yihan again, grateful for his timely appearance, which saved her and Shija from danger. When Shija watched the interaction between Mo Chunan and Yihan, Yihan's words, that he was the one who had been by Mo Chunan's side for a long time, surfaced in his mind. At this moment, a heartbroken and pained Shija felt that Yihan was right. What did he, Shija, even count for? On the other side, Uncle Lu, whose plan had failed, called Chiu Shirwa, remarking that his granddaughter was quite a troublemaker. Chiu Shirwa calmly accepted his praise for Mo Chunan and mocked him for committing all sorts of illegal and disorderly acts. Uncle Lu pinned the blame for the suspected kidnapping on his subordinates, claiming to be a law-abiding citizen. Yihan and Yiming had finished helping and were saying goodbye to Mo Chunan, preparing to leave. Mo Chunan said goodbye to them and thanked them for helping to bring Shija back. Yiming felt that, on the contrary, he should be the one thanking Mo Chunan. It was because of her selfless rescue that Hu Tao was safe. When Yiming told everyone that he had decided to leave the Nehui, Mo Chunan had no objection. She agreed with Yiming's choice. In the bedroom, Shija couldn't stand being so dirty, he asked Mo Chunan if he could take a shower. Hearing this, Mo Chunan picked him up in a princess carry, intending to take him to the bathroom to wash up. When Shija stiffened for a moment, he didn't understand why Mo Chunan would use a princess carry. He struggled, asking Mo Chunan to put him down, saying he could go by himself. Thinking when Shija was scared, Mo Chunan quickly apologized and asked quizzically, when Shija, do all you guys hate being carried by girls? Hearing the word, you guys, when Shija wondered if she had princess carried anyone else. Mo Chunan fell into a memory. At that time, she had wanted to carry Qianqiao to treat his injuries, but Qianqiao had resisted strongly and pushed her away. Qianqiao felt that Mo Chunan had been deceiving him all along, believing she was just a delinquent girl who had pretended to be a good girl to get close to him. Enraged, he used many harsh words to curse Mo Chunan, telling her to stay away from him. Mo Chunan couldn't defend herself. Hearing Qianqiao's words, she cried her heart out. Recalling this memory, Mo Chunan's mood clearly sank. When Shija noticed Mo Chunan's low spirits and cautiously called her name, Mo Chunan immediately snapped out of it, saying she was fine and had just zoned out by accident. After Mo Chunan put Shija down, when Shija apologized to her for his earlier reaction, causing her to recall unhappy memories. He joked that he was indeed scared by her just now because he didn't expect his 62-kilogram body to be lifted so easily by her. Mo Chunan smiled, saying her strength had always been greater than average and that many people called her a freakishly strong girl. When Shija grabbed Mo Chunan's hand, explaining that he wasn't making fun of her great strength, nor did he feel he lost face by being carried by her. Rather, he was worried that he was so heavy. What if she pulled a muscle carrying him? What if she twisted her ankle while walking? When Shija told Mo Chunan that what he cared about from beginning to end was that she might get hurt because of him. To be honest, when Shija still found it hard to believe that Mo Chunan was a girl. He had always admired her, as if she were a big brother. So he hoped that one day in the future, he could stand by Mo Chunan's side to protect her, instead of hiding behind her. After reuniting with Mo Chunan, when Shija realized that regardless of whether Mo Chunan was male or female, it was her as a person that he admired. Even if Mo Chunan was always self-conscious about her great strength, in his eyes, it wasn't a problem at all. On the contrary, it was a very special kind of charm. Hearing this, Mo Chunan's eyes filled with emotion. Then when Shija apologized to Mo Chunan again, he knew that because of that incident, Mo Chunan didn't want to meet him, but he still appeared before her. Mo Chunan knew that the incident when Shija mentioned referred to the time after his parents' death, when, as young children, they tried to investigate the truth and nearly lost their lives. Back then, it was Qiu Shigua who appeared in time and saved them, though he also gave them a harsh scolding. Qiu Shigua advised them that if they wanted to live, they should give up investigating the cause of Wenqing's death. Besides, at that time, he believed that Mo Chunan and when Shija were not yet qualified to investigate this matter. When Shija couldn't accept Qiu Shigua forbidding him from investigating the truth, because the one who died was his beloved father. Moreover, his father had died such a tragic death that even his body wasn't intact. But at that time, Mo Chunan was immersed in the pain of her own weakness and didn't consider that when Shija was enduring even more. Thinking that it was when Shija who had been in pain all along, Mo Chunan hugged him with a heavy heart, saying he was the only person in this world who was important to her. When Shija wanted to apologize again, but Mo Chunan didn't want him to, telling him to stop talking. Just then, Yihan returned. He told Mo Chunan that the doctor he found for when Shija was about to arrive and that she should get something to eat and rest. However, before he could finish his sentence, he saw the two of them embracing. The rest of his words got stuck in his throat. Mo Chunan told when Shija that he was a very important person to her and no one could replace him. Yihan, standing at the side, heard these words and looked as if his heart had broken, his eyes revealing a deep sadness. The next day, thanks to Yihan's help, Mo Chunan was able to sleep until 9 o'clock before going to school. After having his wounds treated, when Shija also left early. And so, Mo Chunan returned to her school life. However, Mo Chunan still felt that going to school was a troublesome affair. After the incident with Hu Tao Mo Chanan discovered that the school's Nehui seemed to be connected to her grandfather's sworn enemy, Uncle Lu. It seemed Mo Chanan still didn't know that she had become the center of school gossip, with all sorts of evaluations and speculations about her. As soon as Hu Tao returned to school, she was startled to hear what her classmates were discussing. It turned out someone had posted a photo on the school's network of Mo Chunan at the nightclub. The poster was clearly targeting Mo Chunan because everyone else in the photo was censored except for Mo Chunan. Below the post were all sorts of negative comments about Mo Chunan, calling her arrogant, a fighter, a nightclub goer, and so on. Hu Tao felt it was tragic. She knew the truth, but couldn't say it, because if she did, it would implicate Wen Yiming and the others. Besides, who would believe that they, as high school students, went to a nightclub and got into a conflict with security guards that night? Hu Tao rested her head in her hands, her head aching as she thought about these problems, not knowing what to do. She felt that Mo Chunan was being targeted by the people from the Nehui. She wondered if it was possible that the poster was one of the Nehui's people. Outside the school, Mo Chunan, who had already arrived, glanced at the height of the wall from a corner, planning to climb over it. However, just as she climbed up, she saw someone on the other side of the wall and came face to face with that person. That person was Niming Jun, a man disguised as a woman. He was holding his phone, watching Mo Chunan's actions in surprise. Suddenly, Mo Chunan fell from the wall, tackling Niming Jun to the ground. Mo Chunan felt a sense of deja vu from this scene. She remembered the last time she was pinned down by Wen Shizha, just like this. Mo Chunan quickly apologized to Niming Jun, asking if he was okay. Niming Jun said he was fine. At the same time, he recognized Mo Chunan's identity. Mo Chunan looked puzzled, not knowing how he recognized her. Niming Jun told Mo Chunan that probably everyone in Hai knew her now, because she had been anonymously exposed on the campus network. After speaking, Niming Jun handed his phone, open to the page with the post about Mo Chunan on the campus network, to Mo Chunan for her to see. Mo Chunan saw all the comments cursing her and was instantly angry enough to hit someone. Niming Jun was frightened by Mo Chunan's angry expression, thinking the rumors about her being a delinquent girl were true. Mo Chunan returned the phone to Niming Jun, thanking him for letting her see it, and told him not to be afraid of her. Mo Chunan left with a "see you again, if fate allows," and turned to leave. Hearing this, Niming Jun had an expression of not knowing what to say. Meanwhile, Wen Yiming was on the phone, asking for Mo Chunan's location and telling her where the Nehui was. At the Nehui, Luo Qinjie questioned Wen Yiming if he was going to stand with Mo Chunan. Wen Yiming, who owed Mo Chunan a favor, gave an affirmative answer. Luo Qinjie smiled. Knowing Wen Yiming's personality, he wasn't surprised by this answer at all. Arriving at the Nehui, Mo Chunan at the entrance kicked the door open without hesitation. Mo Chunan was glad that Wen Yiming had told her the location. Otherwise, she would have been searching for a long time. When Luo Qinjie saw Mo Chunan enter, he immediately greeted her in a friendly manner, saying they met again. It turned out they had met before. At that time, Luo Qinjie had told Mo Chunan to let go of the person she was holding. Luo Qinjie had also kindly given directions to a lost Mo Chunan, telling her the third-year building was opposite. Meeting again now, Mo Chunan thanked him for the directions back then and took the opportunity to ask for his name. Luo Qinjie told Mo Chunan his name was Luo Qinjie. He hoped Mo Chunan would always remember his name. Mo Chunan said she would remember. After all, she remembered that Luo Qinjie had conspired with Uncle Lu to lure her to the nightclub. Luo Qinjie first released the news that Hu Tao had been captured. Then he suggested Wen Yiming go ask her for help. If the original plan had been carried out, Mo Chunan would have been caught by Uncle Lu, and then his Luo Qinjie's mission would have been complete. Mo Chunan was very curious. Why did Luo Qinjie think she would agree to Wen Yiming's request to go to the nightclub to save Hu Tao? And if she had chosen not to go at that time, wouldn't his plan have failed? Luo Qinjie showed a slight smile and asked Mo Chunan in return, didn't she end up choosing to go after all? Mo Chunan found Luo Qinjie truly detestable. She wished she could beat him up right now to vent her anger. Seeing Mo Chunan's unfriendly expression, Luo Qinjie quickly clarified to her that he didn't conspire with Uncle Lu, but merely fanned the flames a bit. Luo Qinjie invited Mo Chunan to join the Nehui, implying that opposing him would be a troublesome affair. Mo Chanan refused, stating bluntly that she likes to be at the top, not to be someone's subordinate, nor does she like others calling themselves boss in front of her. After hearing this, Luo Chenjia knew that the talks with Mo Chanan had broken down. He immediately picked up his phone to call and issue an order to act. In the school's broadcasting room, after receiving Luo Chenjia's call, Mao Xiaoli mocked Mo Chanan for being stupid enough to choose to oppose the Neihui. She immediately turned on the broadcast microphone to announce the Neihui's notice to all teachers and students of the school. From this day forward, the Neihui officially declares war on Mo Chanan of Year 3, Class F. Anyone who stands with Mo Chanan will be considered an enemy of the Neihui. The Neihui even promised that those who stand on the Neihui's side and emerge victorious will have the chance to earn the qualification to join Neihui. Mo Balan heard this broadcast with a worried expression, extremely concerned for Mo Chinan's safety. In the teacher's office, the teachers heard the broadcast and knew the Neihui people were stirring up trouble again. They immediately arranged for someone to go to the broadcasting room to stop it. On the rooftop, Niming Jun remarked that now there was some excitement to watch. He could finally stop being bored. Here, only one person could stand at the top. He was very much looking forward to seeing who would win when the school's Neihui declared all-out war on Mo Chanan. After the broadcast ended, Luo Chenjia looked at the grim-faced Mo Chanan, telling her not to mind it, claiming it's an old rule of a high. When Yiming placed his hand on Mo Chinan's shoulder, stating that he keeps his word, he would stand on her side. Just like that time she helped him, he would fight side by side with her, so she wouldn't be alone. Hearing these words, Mo Chinan's joy was beyond words. Her eyes curved into smiling crescents. Speaking of rules, Mo Chanan believed that rules are made by the strongest. Therefore, she challenged Luo Chenjia, stating that if she defeated him with her own hands, the rules here would be hers to decide. Looking at Mo Chinan's confident and arrogant appearance, Luo Chenjia found her extremely interesting and greatly looked forward to her performance. Mo Chanan then returned the book to Luo Chenjia, telling him that the best book in this series is the final volume. Although Mo Chanan was unclear about the Neihui's purpose for declaring war on her, she declared that before she figured it out, she would pull Luo Chenjia down from his position as the Neihui's boss. Luo Chenjia waited in anticipation. He wanted to see just how Mo Chanan would drag him down from his boss's position. No matter where she was, Mo Chanan would not allow anyone to stand in the position of a boss and look down on her. The rules had to be hers to decide. After Mo Chanan came out, she found that Mo Balan and Hu Tao had both arrived. Their faces were filled with concern. Hu Tao and Mo Balan stated that no matter what happened, they would stand on Mo Chanan's side. Seeing everyone's tense faces, Mo Chanan couldn't help but laugh to ease the awkwardness. Mo Balan was angry that she could still laugh at a time like this. Luo Chenjia walked to the window. Through the glass, he watched a few people downstairs, talking and laughing. Just then, when he hugged him from behind, curious about what he was looking at. Discovering he was looking at Mo Chanan, she acted coquettishly possessive and forbade him from looking. Luo Chenjia immediately soothed her, telling her not to make a fuss. When he wanted to know what Luo Chenjia's chances of winning against Mo Chanan were, and if he had found out Mo Chanan's background, Luo Chenjia told her that Mo Chanan was indeed Qiu Shirwa's granddaughter, but for some reason, she didn't take Qiu Shirwa's surname. Mo Chanan was also the former boss of the Linen Hui, with strength no less than theirs. But what was strange was that Mo Chanan had never attended school. When he was shocked to hear this, she could hardly believe it was true. Luo Chenjia's investigation revealed that Mo Chanan went abroad at the age of 8 and returned to the country 2 years ago. She only came here to attend school after establishing the Linen Hui in F City, when he felt that Mo Chanan was connected to that side. Therefore, to prevent their plan from being ruined, they must eliminate Mo Chanan. In the classroom, the math teacher was highlighting key points for the students. There would be an exam next week. Hu Tao noticed the atmosphere in the class was very strange. It seemed everyone wanted to defeat Mo Chanan to get into the Neihui. Moreover, she noticed that Zhang Ye hadn't spoken a word since that day at the nightclub. It was said she was preparing to transfer schools. But what surprised her even more was that in such a tense atmosphere, Mo Chanan was actually able to sleep. Finally, the bell for the end of class rang. After giving a few instructions, the teacher dismissed the class. At this moment, Muyi stood up and told the students to act according to the rules. Consequently, some of the regular students voluntarily walked out of the classroom. This meant they didn't want to get involved in what was about to happen. Hu Tao remembered this was a rule of the Nehui. Regular students could not be involved. Those remaining in the classroom were all delinquent students. The one they were going to deal with was Mo Chenan. Zhang Yin knew Mo Chenan was not to be trifled with and kindly advised the delinquent students to forget it. Hearing this, Muyi told him to shut up, stating that he was no longer the boss of this class, and taunted him for being beaten into fear by Mo Chenan. Muyi walked up to Mo Chenan's desk. Seeing her completely still, he couldn't help but remark how soundly she was sleeping. Immediately after, Muyi thrust the steel ruler in his hand toward Mo Chenan. Seeing Mo Chenan in danger, Hu Tao immediately shouted Mo Chenan's name, trying to wake her up. However, just as Hu Tao's voice fell, she was slapped hard by a female student next to her, who demanded she shut up. Hu Tao clutched her injured cheek. Just as she thought Mo Chenan was about to be hurt by Muyi, Mo Chenan suddenly looked up and grabbed a nearby book to block Muyi's steel ruler. Muyi froze on the spot, a look of astonishment on his face. Mo Chenan, whose rest was disturbed by killing intent, kindly taught Muyi that one shouldn't release killing intent during a sneak attack. Mo Chenan asked if Muyi was the new boss of this class. Muyi didn't know what Mo Chenan was planning. When he admitted his identity, his lack of confidence was obvious. Mo Chenan stood up and looked at the group before her, knowing that if she wanted to sleep well in class in the future, she would have to take care of these people first. Mo Chenan turned her head and asked Hu Tao what the next class was and how many minutes until it started. Hu Tao told her the next class was Teacher Yi Han's, and there were less than 10 minutes until it began. Hearing it was Yi Han's class, Mo Chenan knew she could sleep peacefully for a whole period. In order not to waste her precious sleeping time, Mo Chenan decided to deal with this group within 5 minutes. Hearing this, Muyi's followers thought Mo Chenan was being too arrogant. This was looking down on them. A green-haired female student felt that what Mo Chenan did at the nightclub was too much. She immediately threw a punch, wanted to teach her a lesson. However, before she could even touch Mo Chenan swiftly dodged. Her speed was astonishing. Mo Chenan then seized the opportunity and landed a heavy blow on the green-haired female student's back. Watching the green-haired female student fall to the ground, Mo Chenan explained that she didn't do that kind of thing. Mo Chenan was very curious about who had posted the slanderous material about her and what their purpose was in deliberately smearing her name. Just then, a male student tried to sneak attack Mo Chenan from behind. Who would have known that before he could even touch Mo Chenan, he was sent flying by her roundhouse kick. With a loud crash, several desks were knocked over by the male student. Mo Chenan waved her hand and asked if that male student could get up and continue fighting. If not, then next. Hearing this, a muscular guy in the class showed off his muscles to Mo Chenan, attempting to intimidate her. However, without a word, Mo Chenan directly punched him in the chin, causing him to curse in pain. Muyi watched as they were beaten one by one, cursing them as useless. He told them all to get out of the way. He would do it himself. He brandished the steel ruler and launched an attack on Mo Chenan, but she dodged it. But he wasn't angry at all, because he had long predicted that Mo Chenan would dodge. So he planned to sneak up behind Mo Chenan and land a blow. Just as he was about to succeed, Mo Chenan suddenly turned around. The steel ruler landed right on her eye. The sheer danger of it made Hu Tao, who was watching from the side, cry out in alarm. Muyi didn't expect Mo Chenan to suddenly turn back. He was so frightened that he quickly let go of the steel ruler in his hand. He had never intended to aim for the face, especially a girl's face. If he scarred it, he couldn't bear the responsibility. The others didn't understand what had just happened and mistakenly thought Muyi had almost succeeded. Looking at Mo Chenan biting the steel ruler in her mouth, some students were also startled by her, wondering if she was a monster. Mo Chenan found Muyi quite interesting. She had somewhat underestimated his ability, but he was still too weak. Mo Chenan reminded him that the steel ruler was as dangerous as a knife. Mo Chenan asked those present if anyone else wanted to fight her. Everyone else present was intimidated by Mo Chenan's powerful fighting ability. No one dared to accept the challenge, afraid of being instantly defeated. They were curious about what kind of background this Mo Chenan Chenin had. Her strength was not to be underestimated. Mo Chenin saw the slap mark on Hu Tao's face and asked her who hit her. Hu Tao lied, saying she accidentally fell. Mo Chenin actually knew who had hit her. She directly questioned that female student, but the female student denied it. Mo Chenin slapped her directly, stating that this was returning it on behalf of Hu Tao. People always like to pick on the weakest ones. Mo Chenin told Hu Tao that she was the soft persimmon everyone liked to pick on, and bullying her came with no responsibility. So whenever something happened, the first thing those people thought of was to bully her. Mo Chenin advised Hu Tao that as long as she didn't show some attitude and just endured it, it would only lead to worse things happening. Mo Chenin knew that Hu Tao didn't want a repeat of what happened that day, so she told Hu Tao to put an end to it this time. Hearing this, Hu Tao pondered for a moment. Then, she walked toward the female student with a blank expression. Seeing this, the female student was terrified and immediately apologized to Hu Tao repeatedly. Hu Tao came before the female student and raised her right hand high. The female student closed her eyes in fear. However, Hu Tao just gently placed her hand on her. She explained that she wasn't good at hitting people, and besides, Mo Chenin had already hit her on her behalf. But Hu Tao stated that there would absolutely be no next time, because she would never let anyone bully her again. Hearing this, Mo Chenin was charmed by Hu Tao's cuteness, thinking she was really gentle. Mo Chenin saw that no one wanted to fight her anymore, so she announced that from now on, she was the boss of this class. At the same time, she made it clear to everyone about her declaration of war on the Nehui. She would not force everyone to stand on her side. However, she also promised that for anyone who decided to stand on her side, she would never let them suffer the slightest grievance. They could choose to be an insignificant supporter of the Nehui, or choose to follow her, defeat the Nehui, and become the pinnacle here. Mo Chenin gave everyone two choices, letting them weigh the pros and cons to make a decision. Hu Tao knew that the people in the Nehui were very strong, but many people had never fought them. So, just how strong they were, probably no one truly knew. But Mo Chenin's strength was there for all to see. Everyone present had witnessed her strength and were completely convinced by her as their new boss. The delinquent students who had muddled through to the third year without being able to join the Nehui had probably long given up hope of joining and standing at the top. But Mo Chenin's words made their hearts stir again. So, it was no surprise that they chose to side with Mo Chenin. And all of this was within Mo Chenin's calculations. Hu Tao understood that for this matter, Mo Chenin needed a group of people who had truly seen her strength and would follow her to fight back. Muyi also apologized to Mo Chenin for underestimating her before, but he also felt that her choice to confront the Nehui was a foolish one. However, he also wanted to be foolish for once. So he solemnly told Mo Chenin that they chose to stand on her side. So the two shook hands, made peace, and got to know each other anew. In just the time of one class break, she had made the delinquent students of the class follow her. Hu Tao marveled that Mo Chenin had the potential to lead others. She was also attracted to this side of Mo Chenin. She had never met such a special person before. Many years later, when Hu Tao looked back, she realized that meeting Mo Chenin in high school had truly changed her a lot. The vice president of the student council was reporting Mo Chenin's situation to the president, Wei Xingrui. Wei Xingrui told them to wait and observe the changes, stating that it was not yet time for the student council to intervene. On Mo Balan's side, seeing Mo Chenin handle a whole class so quickly made her feel very happy and proud. However, Lu Qin kindly reminded Mo Balan that the most important thing for her right now was to focus on next month's school-wide unified exam. Because if Mo Balan failed the exam again, Wei Xingrui would definitely rush to her house to give her remedial lessons. Mao Xiaoli thought the people in Class F were a bunch of fools for actually choosing to side with Mo Chenin against the Nehui. Niming Jun, who also saw this news, felt that Mo Chenin was even faster than he had imagined. After school, Mo Chenin and Hu Tao said goodbye to each other. Other students also greeted Mo Chenin and said goodbye. Hearing them call her boss, Missouri Chenin felt a bit awkward and told them not to call her that. People from other classes saw this scene and couldn't help but believe that the anonymous person's expose on the campus network was true. They were very curious about what ability Mo Chenin possessed to make the entire class F switch sides. Just then, when Shija suddenly called out to Mo Chinan, saying he had been waiting for her for a long time. Seeing the suddenly appeared when Shija, Mo Chinan was stunned for a moment, extremely surprised. Other girls saw the handsome when Shija and started fawning over him, practically radiating hearts from all over. Mo Chinan immediately showed concern for when Shija's injuries and asked him how he appeared here. When Shija explained that he was a student at university, his university classes ended early, so he came by to see her on his way. He took Mo Chinan's hand and apologized to her, saying his injury was fine now and that he had made her worry. He invited Mo Chinan to go home with him, saying he would cook for her. The people around heard the words "go home" and were struck as if by a thunderbolt, all speculating whether the two were living together. Mo Chinan also felt that when Shija's words sounded strange, as if there was something that couldn't be explained. When they were young, Mo Chinan found it strange that there were no adults at Shija's house to cook. When Shija explained that after his parents passed away, his father's subordinates were transferred away and the servants quit, deeming it bad luck. Mo Chinan felt that even so, he couldn't skip meals. Besides, wasn't she here now? After saying that, Mo Chinan pulled when Shija to eat. She had already prepared a meal. These reassuring words from Mo Chinan made when Shija feel as if he were seeing the sun again. So to him, Mo Chinan was his only pillar of support. Arriving at the dining table, he looked at the few unappetizing dishes on it. When Shija wasn't sure if this was a meal made by Mo Chinan, he awkwardly asked Mo Chinan what it was. Seeing when Shija's expression, Mo Chinan instantly became angry from embarrassment and snapped a few words at him. When Shija suggested why not just buy food to eat, he felt that cooking and all that was too troublesome. Mo Chinan hadn't even realized they could buy food. To hide her own foolishness, she claimed that in the long run, the money would definitely not be enough. When Shija revealed that his parents' inheritance was several hundred million and his save pocket money was several million, he asked Mo Chinan if this money was enough. After hearing this, Mo Chinan was instantly petrified. She couldn't imagine how many zeros were after those numbers. Looking at when Shija's completely unkempt appearance, Mo Chinan knew that he used to be a pampered young master. She quickly reminded when Shija not to tell others that he was rich. She was afraid when Shija would be murdered for his money. She also told when Shija not to spend the money recklessly, but to use it frugally and to work hard when he grew up to earn as much money as his parents. Although when Shija didn't quite understand, he still agreed to Mo Chinan without hesitation. Looking at the obedient when Shija, Mo Chinan thought he was extremely well behaved, but she couldn't figure out why he called her big brother. The food was truly made too terribly. Even Mo Chinan herself couldn't eat it. But when Shija was still eating, she told him to stop. Time returns to the present. After returning home from school, when Shija cooked a meal in no time and asked Mo Chinan to try it. Looking at the delicious dishes on the dining table that looked, smelled, and tasted great, Mo Chinan thought when Shija was amazing. Having not seen him for several years, Mo Chinan was curious when Shija had learned the skill of cooking. When Shija looked at Mo Chinan with anticipation, hoping she would hurry up and try it. A few hours earlier, when Shija had put on a pitiful look and asked Mo Chinan to go home with him, saying he had been preparing for a long time. Mo Chinan simply couldn't refuse when Shija with such an expression and had to agree. Nosy people around captured this scene and posted it on the campus network, saying that Mo Chinan and when Shija were living together. Looking at this glistening food, Mo Chinan finally understood that what when Shija meant by preparing for a long time was cooking. When Shija was a little worried, he didn't know if these dishes would suit Mo Chinan's appetite. Mo Chinan picked up a piece and tried it, discovering it was super delicious. It was simply incomparable to what she usually ate. Hearing this, when Shija scratched his head in embarrassment, feeling that Mo Chinan's praise was a bit exaggerated. He wondered what she usually ate. Mo Chinan said that she lives at Yihan's house, and usually Yihan buys food from outside, or they eat out. After hearing this, when Shija instantly lost control of his emotions and stood up, Mo Chinan was puzzled as to what was wrong with him. When Shija said that she was at an age where she was still growing, how could she eat takeout long term? He decided to make lunch for her every day from now on. Mo Chinan agreed in a heartbeat. After all, when Shija's cooking was so delicious, it would be great if she could eat it every day. After the meal, when Shija took the initiative to do the dishes, he told Mo Chinan to rest on the side. Mo Chinan felt that when Shija had really changed a lot in these few years. She was curious about what he had experienced and asked if he had gone to study home economics. When Shija told Mo Chinan that he didn't specifically go to study home economics, he just got used to living independently. But in reality, all this time, he had been desperately living an independent life with the goal of being able to see Mo Chinan again. For those 3 years, he had been working his life out for others until he handed over the last set of blueprints to the other party. As agreed, he made a request to the other party to see a healthy Mo Chinan at a high, far away from the criminal underworld. Mo Chinan looked at Shija, who had suddenly spaced out, and called out to him in confusion. He immediately came back to his senses and responded gently to Mo Chinan. He told Mo Chinan that being able to meet her again this time and to cook for her with his own hands already made him feel very happy. Hearing this, Mo Chinan was at a loss for words. Suddenly, she remembered she hadn't gone back. She had forgotten to tell Yihan, so she immediately took out her phone, preparing to call Yihan. But she found her phone had automatically shut down due to low battery. She must have forgotten to charge her phone when she woke up in the morning. When Shija happened to have Yihan's contact information and offered to help her contact him. With no other choice, Mo Chinan had to ask Shija for help. After receiving Shija's call, Yihan learned that Mo Chinan was at his house. He immediately asked for the address, preparing to go over and pick Mo Chinan up, when Shija didn't give it to him directly. Instead, he questioned Yihan, asking if he was the one who had switched Mo Chinan's necklace. When Shija, afraid Yihan wouldn't know which necklace he was talking about, specifically clarified that it was the one he had previously placed a tracker in. Yihan frankly admitted that he didn't trust him. What his purpose was for appearing before Mo Chinan, he himself did not know. Moreover, Yihan had checked Shija's background and found no information on him from the age of 13 until now. What's more, he is the son of Cheng and is also investigating the cause of Cheng's death back then. Therefore, Yihan had reason to suspect that Shija might use Mo Chinan's identity to do something. Yihan warned Shija that no matter how good his relationship with Mo Chinan was in the past, or how important he was in Mo Chinan's eyes, but for all these years, the one who has always been by Mo Chinan's side is him, Yihan.